playing the middle linebacker position?
The word, honestly, that comes to watching Fred play is just joy. The guy plays the game with absolute joy. He knows all the checks. He's going to get all the audibles out. You want to change your formation, you want to motion, you want to shift, all that stuff. Like, he's on all of it. And he's loud. You can hear him, And so there's no breakdowns. But then, you got to play this game with violence. You just do. But, it's a joyful violence. It's like, I wish I could run through defenders like that. I wish I could just blow plays up like that. I wish I could just go full speed like that with not an ounce of fear. No fear, all joy. That's my description of Fred.
Perfect description of Fred Warner. I get joy watching him play the middle linebacker spot, but he's become a little more violent. Ask Najee Harris. Ask Tony Pollard. Ask anybody running across the middle against Fred Warner. I mean, he's guarding dudes. He's covering dudes 50 yards down the field.
You and I said this, I think it was year 1 or 2 for him. 18 was year 1, so it's probably year 2. We were like, can you name a guy who's more perfectly suited to represent your organization from the defensive side of the ball than Fred Warner? So well-spoken, accountable, plays with his hair on fire, but under control. You know what I mean? Like, He doesn't do the silly penalty things. Clearly a communicator.
Yep. Green dot helmet, his first ever game against the Minnesota Vikings.
Right.
On a team that had Reuben Foster.
Clearly obsessed, maniacally obsessed with football, right? Like, he checks everybody. What's the box he doesn't check?
I don't know.
Speed, power, size, physicality,
coverage skills,
IQ,
3-down linebacker,
anticipation.
Right. Leader,
the guy
leadership.
is the real. He's really the complete package.
Leader.
He's B. Again, I tell you, to run my team from the defensive side of the ball, he is as good of a leader as I could think of that you could create in a lab.
I don't even want to say this, but I'm going to do it anyway.
What's that?
He wins one Super Bowl with the 49ers. He'll be on a bigger platform than Patrick Willis. They will revere him. Niner fans will revere him more than P. Willie. And that's tough to say. I love Patrick Willis. But the torch will be officially passed. It's getting close. I think this fan base is starting to be like, yo, we got somebody in 54. This guy's a monster. Hasn't had any major injuries yet. Knock on wood.
No.
He's played every single game. He got hurt against Philadelphia. We're like, oh, boy, Fred Warner came back in that game, played well, did what he could do in that football game to try to help the Niners win. He wins one Super Bowl. He's going to be in an argument, or we're going to have a conversation about him being the best middle linebacker in 49er history.
And for such a demanding physical position, because I don't think we view linebacker the same way we view running back, but they're very similar in terms of like, bro, you're in a car crash. How many car crashes a week do you think he's in?
No, 15, 20. Taking on guards, centers, linebacker, tight ends, guys coming down, crash blocking on him. And Ahmad Z, if he doesn't win a Super Bowl, he'll still be in the conversation for being one of the best linebackers in 49er history.
I think so too. I mean,
just look at the numbers. Just look at the game. Watch the game. This guy's a 3-down linebacker. All right, you put him in a nickel. You want to put him in a 3-4. He could be a 3-4 linebacker. Could be a 4-3 linebacker. Play an nitty scheme.
He's so intelligent. He could do anything on any. And if they used him as just a pass rusher, I think he'd be really good at that too.
Right. We were discussing who's more important to the defense, Bosa or Fred Warner. I go back and forth with this thing.
I know. Well, that shows how good both of them are.
Right. So,
have we even asked about how much he's paid?
No.
In a league where we obsess about money, it sure is interesting. Like, when you pay him, you don't even think twice about him, do you?
You don't. You don't.
You never hear any person be like, Fred Warner, man, he's overpaid.
No,
like, even Bosa, people will be like, oh, he doesn't get a sack.
You don't.
And like Warner, that's never a question.
You don't. Clay Thompson, real quick, because we're going to take some calls. I see some calls coming in on Fred Warner. We're going to take everybody.
I think he's just a prototypical leader of any corporation.
He's the captain of the team. He's everything you want in a linebacker. Thompson said, Clay Thompson, real quick, I want to get this in, and we'll take these calls. He said, this is according to Anthony Slater on 95.7 The Game Insider. Thompson said he went back and watched film from all his misses from the Lakers series. He learned that he was fried. He was tired. All my shots in the Game 6 were short. They were all on line. They were just short. I don't know if that's mental fatigue or physical fatigue, but it happens. Then on top of that, I learned as I get older, I had to rely on my teammates and my smarts to be as efficient scoring the ball as I possibly can be.
So forget the first part about the physical exhaustion, which is definitely real for the team and him, because he was carrying the team for a month there. Discernment. That's the number one thing that I came out of last year, and I know he hit the 300 threes and all that. Is shot selection. It's like when and where you're shooting. That is to me the number one thing for Clay. We know you can shoot. It's, are you taking good shots at the proper time and not ruining the momentum or the flow, or
no doubt
continuing to chuck when the team really needs to slow it down and get a good look. And by the way, he's not alone.
No,
he was playing with a guy playing at 150 miles per hour in Jordan Poole. So it's not all on Clay, but I would say that like him recognizing that his shot discernment needs to be better, that's
good.
Bigger than all the other like physical stuff. That's the number one thing for me.
Yep. I don't know how. I'm not even going to read that. Sweets in Napa. Sweets, what's happening? You're on the roast.
Hey, what's going on, gentlemen?
What's going on, Sweets?
Can you hear me?
Oh, we got you loud and clear, Sweets.
Right on. You took the words right out of my mouth when you were talking about Fred Warner and might be as good as Patrick Willis. I bet you P. Willie had no problem passing the torch to that man.
No doubt.
I remember, I don't know who it was, but back when P. Willie was playing, they said that the earth was covered 2/3 by water and the other third was covered by Patrick Willis. That's the same way about Warner, man. He covers everything.
That's a good line.
He got a slot receiver 50 yards down the field. He's got a receiver come across the middle. Doesn't matter. He's got it.
That's spot on. That's a great analogy there. 2/3 of the world is covered by water.
I love that.
The other third is covered by Patrick
that.
Willis. That is good. Let's go to David Pleasanton. Dave, what's happening? You're on the roast.
Hey, guys, I just wanted to show some love to Bowman real quick because I know we're not bringing him up, but I also wanted to bring up, I love Fred Warner, but I shut down AP when he had to shadow him for the whole game to 3 yards. When it comes to Navarro Bowman, let's not forget the game he showed up in the playoffs against the Atlanta Falcons with the interception. And let's not forget it takes a different type of human being to get on that goal line and acknowledge, I'm going to risk my career and blow out my knee just for this fumble recovery. And he said, screw it, I'm going to do this for my team. It takes a whole different animal to do that, and I just wanted to give him his flowers. That was it.
No, I'm with you on that. On a team with a bunch of tacklers from 2011 to 2013, I'm not going to go after that when he came back with the knee injury. Just that 3-year window. 58 games played, 330 tackles, 105 assisted tackles, 6 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, and multiple interceptions.
I know.
Bowman was ridiculous.
He got the DPOY stolen from him.
Ridiculous.
And it's sad that he was never the same after that gruesome NFC Championship game. One of the most violent games I've ever watched in my life. Seahawks
Hands
Niners.
down.
I mean, it was a bloodbath. Mike Iupati, we forget he got hurt in that game.
And Frank Gore got a concussion.
Frank Gore had playing with a concussion. Made one of the great plays on 4th down. I thought the Niners, they're about to win the game. Did not happen like that. Sean in Oakland. Sean, what's happening? You're on the roast.
Yeah, man. I'm amazed. I'm glad you're talking about this guy, Warner, man, because he's just like a whole prototypical linebacker with like Singletary, Mischke, Buckus, all them, Ray Lewis, Patrick Willis, and Bowman, man. It's just a once-in-a-generation type player, man, and I'm glad he's getting his props of what kind of player he is. I've never seen a guy that can cover so much field and so big. It makes no sense. He's like a sprinter.
He's huge.
But in a bodybuilder's body. So, yeah, man, this man is awesome, man. They're going to be paying this guy a lot of money later down the line, so I can't wait to see what his team do this year and see them go into the Super Bowl this year.
Hey, good call, Sean. And one thing Warner admitted in 2021, he came out struggling. We were very critical of Warner. He's over-pursuing, missing some tackles. He came out and said, I put a lot of pressure on myself to try to live up to the contract. I kept thinking about it. Boy, I got to live up to the money. Second half of 2021, dude was dominant. Admitting that, just going out and admitting that. A lot of fans, oh, man, you're overpaying. He admitted it. It was getting to me a little bit.
I want to know who was the one who said, take this guy, we're going to move him from safety to linebacker.
I think it was D'Amico.
I don't know.
Was it Saleh?
Well, because remember when Patrick Willis, they were going to take Adam Carricker.
Yeah,
right?
I remember that.
From Nebraska.
Yeah.
And
I'm so happy they didn't do that.
And Mike Singletary jumped up onto the table, apparently, and was pounding the table for Patrick Willis. I remember watching
because the Niners coached him at the Senior Bowl. Mike Nolan and Mike Singletary.
Right out of my mouth.
Well, it's kind of like Deebo Samuel when Shanahan and company were at the Senior Bowl, and they saw Deebo up close and personal. It was like, yeah, this is the guy we want.
I mean, whoever decided to move him from safety to linebacker and take him in the 3rd round, it's one of the great selections in Niner history.
It really is.
I mean, it really is. I mean, I'm not even trying to be hyperbolic. He's been unbelievable.
Well, Baldy always breaks it down on why, or when he covered that game. Baldy was in Minnesota for that game, Niners-Vikings, to start the 2018 season. And Baldy was like, who the hell is this number 48? He's wearing a green dot helmet. Dalvin Cook breaks one down the field like 15 yards or something. And this number 48 comes in and punches the ball out, forces a fumble. Niners are in that football game. We're all thinking, who's 48? Fred Warner? I thought he was a backup. And it was so easy. Like, if Fred Warner doesn't ascend to that level, I don't know if the Niners, it's hard to say.
They're not where they're at now without him.
They're not where they're at,
There's
but I'm
no
just thinking
question.
about Reuben Foster. Would they have been that quick to pivot off of Reuben Foster had Fred Warner not been that good?
Well, they clipped him the year before. It was all in year one, I believe.
No, they clipped Reuben Foster year 2.
Was it year 2?
Yeah,
I thought it was year 1.
Year 2, they were down in Tampa Bay. Year 2,
Why
they
did I
were
think it was year
struggling.
one?
They
Oh,
were
my goodness.
struggling.
Yeah, I don't know about that, B. I mean, they had Elijah Lee
They had
out there.
yeah,
they
you
had
know,
a bunch of nobodies.
But he was so legit. So legit that they were just like, you know what, Reuben, you're still acting up. Bye-bye.
Well, I mean, in a way, it's a less extreme version of Trey Lance and Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of goes like, remember they had Adrian Colbert at safety at one time that they liked early on, and he ended up not panning out. They have not been shy moving off someone. Jimmy Ward was their safety that they liked, that they paid. Gibson came in, and they haven't looked back.
Well, look at that 2018 draft. Mike McGlinchey, Dante Pettis, Tarvarius Moore, Contavious Street, DJ Reed, Marcel Harris, Julian Taylor, and Richie James. And Fred Warner's left.
Wow.